Joining me now is Florida Congressman Byron Donalds and New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. Boy, that's a great couple we got there. Thank you very much for coming in, folks. Byron, first to you, if I can. There's something about the phrase courting the black vote that seems so demeaning. Trump went to the Bronx last week, but it was an open message. It was in a section of the city that is dominated by black and Latinos, but it was open to everybody. And there's a woman who was kind of a warm-up act. Her name was Madeline Braun, and Varney had her on last week. I just want to play a soundbite from her and get your reaction. Roll it.
Trump is speaking our language. He has figured out a way to connect. All right, to connect with poor minorities. Let's put it in perspective. Poor minorities, meaning black, white, Asian, Jewish, Hispanic, a Russian, Italian, anybody who is struggling right now to make ends meet, who work every single day, okay? And when they get paid, their paycheck lasts them 2 days and the refrigerator is still empty.
Now, to me, that sounds like a unifying message. To you? What do you say, Byron?
Well, I totally agree. It is a unifying message. But I think to a broader perspective, the fact that, you have engagement from President Trump going after black voters is indicative of where black voters are. Really, all voters are.
Yeah.
Everybody is really looking at this election and trying to figure out who's going to do the better job of leading America going forward. Now, I firmly believe that's going to be Donald Trump because he's done this job once. He did a great job when he had the job, and he needs to get it again because Joe Biden has been the master of disaster. So I think that the key messaging going forward is who's going to be better for your pocketbook, for your kitchen table, and for your future in America. It's without a doubt, it's Donald Trump.
That's an inclusive message, Congresswoman. That's exactly what Biden claims he does, bring people together, but he's divided us. And this trial in New York, I hate to be coming back to the A block, but the trial in New York is a perfect example because Trump makes a credible case that what's happening to him could happen to you as well.
Yeah, I think that's why Trump resonates with everyone. And as Byron pointed out, Trump is reaching out to everyone. He's not deciding I'm going to go for the rich or the poor. He's going to send this message to all Americans. It's make America great again for all Americans. Everybody knows and feels the pain from Joe Biden, especially people in the lower income places where they can't, even their taxes have gone up, or it costs even more to get food, as this woman cited, and why she's supporting Trump. Obviously, she was very patriotic. She had on, she must have been a Memorial Day message, and she was definitely supporting our veterans, which is important.
Yep.
And I think that's where Trump is just so good at being authentic, at genuine. He truly shows the compassion and care. In spite of being a billionaire, he's a regular guy who shows his love and care for the average person, which is, he's had that legacy for his entire life. It never gets talked about, all the good things he does for people without getting recognition. And those things are genuine. And he wouldn't do those things if he didn't really care. And I think that Joe Biden, everything is a political calculation, including his sort of racist tropes he's made throughout his entire 50-year career, to cater to people. And he's not genuine. And I think people feel that.
And Congressman, he is making progress, not just with certain ethnic groups in America, but with blue states that have begun to turn purple and now are looking redder than they've been in a long time. I'm thinking in particular Virginia, which Biden won in 2020 by 10 points. As recently as December, Biden was gaining on Trump by 6 points. Now it is dead even, 42-42, according to a Roanoke poll.
No, you're absolutely correct. You had the Virginia poll. I know there was a poll about New York State that the president was 9 points back in New York. New York State, I think Joe Biden won it by 22, 23 points. But what's happened is two things. Number one, Donald Trump was a great president. Number two, Joe Biden has been a disastrous president. The border, inflation, foreign policy. We have more wars going on all over the globe than we've had in decades under Joe Biden. The disrespect of free speech. And now you have the misuse of our justice system purely for politics. People have had enough. They want America to work. They want America to be great. Donald Trump will get us there. Everybody knows the job Joe Biden is going to do. It will be another disaster for 4 more years. And the voters that Claudia is talking about, people on the low end of the socioeconomic spectrum, people in the middle class trying to find a way to get to the upper middle class or even into the rich. There is no runway for them to get there in Joe Biden's America. That's why he must be defeated.
It's about prosperity and insecurity. People want to feel secure. People want to be prosperous. And finally, Congresswoman, the fact is when you get to security, you can't avoid the fact that the guy who is prosecuting, I would even go so far as say persecuting Donald Trump in New York, the DA, Alvin Bragg, he lets criminals free. He lets murderers walk the streets with this no bail law, et cetera. It is a no bail law that was put into effect by the governor. But again, people want to feel more secure, and they don't feel it on the streets or in their pocketbook.
Well, absolutely. And you alluded to it before. If Donald Trump can be persecuted and actually maliciously prosecuted by Alvin Bragg and all these other prosecutors, all in, by the way, very deep blue states, all Democrats, all political operatives, including this judge. I mean, nobody feels more insecure than a member of New York saying, oh, my God, they can prosecute me for walking across the street and chewing gum at the same time. You know, this is why it's so scary to a lot of people. If they can do this to Donald Trump, they can do it to anyone. And this is the definition of what an authoritarian regime does. They cover up the law, they abuse it, and they put away people who they deem as against them and their dissidents. And the irony of Joe Biden calling out President Trump while he's sitting there prosecuting his own opponent. His own opponent. He's using, this is election interference. You know, this is incredible that we are seeing this happen in the United States, in the state of New York, of which I've been a lifelong resident. And I'm a lawyer in this state. I am embarrassed by the bar. And I'm embarrassed that our governor has not removed Alvin Bragg, because she has the power to do that with this malicious prosecution. And had Lee Zeldin won, he said his first act would be to remove Alvin Bragg for his malicious prosecution of President Trump and not holding true criminals accountable and making our minority communities and all communities across New York unsafe. This is an easy, I hope New York votes for Trump. It would be so exciting. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but I'm going to do everything I can to get the vote out for President Trump.
Congresswoman, Congressman, thank you so much both for being here. Really appreciate seeing you.